Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here is Matt Hatfield.
And we welcome you to another edition of 757 Sports Talk, powered by Cova Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe and interact with us. I am Matt Hatfield. We do not know where the coach Ed Young is at the moment. Could be finishing up practice. We have no earthly idea. I know his basketball season just started for him over at Smithfield, and that team is currently sitting at 1-1 overall, beating Isle of Wight Academy in their home opener after losing their season opener on the road against the Lafayette Rams. Speaking of the Lafayette Rams, they're one of 24 teams in action on this particular state semifinal Saturday. We've got high school football semifinal games all across the board in VA. Give you some quick hitter thoughts. We've got all the previews up, all 12 of them, the 24 teams, 12 games, up on virginiapreps.com for folks to check out. They can read it from our entire crack staff, the likes of Robert Anderson, Danny Lewis, Will Garlick, Jim McGrath, and others, along with yours truly, putting those together. We'll take them in, I guess you could say, highest to lowest classification orders. You see right there on the screen, it is the Class 6 state semis going on, where the teams hosting are the teams with the worst overall records. But hey, people will get over it at some point, right? James Madison's Warhawks taking on Oscar Smith. It's a rematch of last year's state final that Oscar Smith pulled out by a whisker, 21-20, while North Stafford plays host to West Springfield. Of note, Kanaz Sullivan, the talented junior two-way performer for North Stafford, not expected to suit up in that matchup for the Wolverines today, the Region 6B champs, against a West Springfield team that's really come on this year. First state semifinal appearance for them since 1980 when they lost to the Hampton Crabbers in the finale. A nice trio there with Javon Austin at receiver, Dylan Booby Wickham at running back, and Scotty Lewis at quarterback. As far as the picks go, I took Oscar Smith to win much more comfortably than last year's matchup. I think Justin Kelsey's done an awesome job at Madison. It's not the same team as last year when they had Dom Nicely, who's at Coastal Carolina, balling out as a true freshman. They do have Matthew Waller. They do have an improving passing attack that hurt Westfield last week in the regional finals. But push comes to shove, I think Smith just has too much firepower through the air with Lonnie Andrews III and Travis Johnson. That line play is exceptional, and the defense is finally healthy for the first time all year, led by the likes of Narad Jarvis, Buffalo commit, All-State linebacker Malachi White, and then the UVA commit on the back end and Jaden Koval. Going to Class 5, big matchup in Ashburn. Oh, folks are really looking forward to it. It is Maury, it is Stonebridge, the fourth chapter between Doreen McCain's Commodores and the Bulldogs, who were once coached by Hall of Famer Mickey Thompson, now led by Kedrick Golston, former NFL defensive lineman for Washington for a dozen years. That defense is just downright nasty for Stonebridge, giving up less than 100 yards a game, barely giving up 4 points a game. They've only given up, I think, 2 completions of 20-plus yards. It's exceptional the way their defense has performed this season. Maury's got the electric offense, 52 points per game, led by the sophomore quarterback Ndamo Everett. This really his first big postseason test for him. He had 3 out-of-district games early in the year to get him prepped with the likes of Cardinal Gibbons, which they lost, with Varina, who they rallied to beat up in Richmond, playing for a Class 4 championship still. We'll get to them in a second. And with Bishop McNamara, who they outlasted in triple overtime, thanks to Charlie McCoy's game-winning field goal in that one. The Maury run game has actually produced more yards on the ground than Stonebridge the last 3 meetings. In 2019, the final that was played at Hampton University, the Commodores held on and won. 2021, the one they lost in a heartbreaker on the final play, Jacob Thomas to Zeke Wimbush at Old Dominion University, and 2 years ago at UVA Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. But if Stonebridge is able to run the football effectively against that Maury defensive front, which is not as imposing as last year, things could be different, and the Bulldogs could even that series up at 2 apiece and win. This is a hard one to call. I think the key is going to be how Maury comes out early. If they can jump on Stonebridge and get up double figures, I don't think the Bulldogs are built to come back. Maury can come back, but it's going to be a hard task on the road against that defense, different environment, and we'll see how it plays out for them. And if the Maury receivers can make some key plays for them, led by Elijah Moss-Williams, JMU signee, Damon McDaniel Jr., who's headed to North Carolina Central, Javon Wiggins, who's going to William & Mary, and he's really been an X factor in the return game, along with some key pass catches as of late for the Commodores. Indian River with the freshman quarterback, Lord Malik Carew, What a performance he had last week against the Green Run Stallions in Virginia Beach with 3 touchdown passes, recovering from the 2 interceptions. He's got 12 TD tosses this postseason. He's hooked up with his receivers consistently, whether it's Jason Preston, Valentino Shaw, Donovan Brown, Elijah Boggs, even Ryan Robinson, who had a couple of touchdowns and a pick 6 in that regional quarterfinal triumph over Kempsville. Line of scrimmage play is going to be big in this one, and Highland Springs' defense has gotten better as the year has progressed under Lauren Johnson, his longtime DC, and Coach Simmons. Their running game is starting to pick things up with Jonathan Carter complementing Eric Bird as their main ball carrier in the rushing attack. So we'll see how this one plays out. I think the Springers have the edge going in. They're at home. I think they've won like 30 straight home playoff games. They haven't lost one at home. They're at the Vic. Maybe it seems like forever. I think my man Danny Lewis would tell you, I think like 2014 LC Bird. It's been a long time. Like they've won so many home playoff games. And Highland Springs beat Indian River 10 years ago, different circumstances. Braves are going to have to cause a couple of turnovers and play from in front in this game. I'm not sure you want to play from behind. Although Lord Malik Carew, we'll see if the legend continues to grow here. He led him on a comeback against Nansemond River and that 97-yard drive against Green Run. And the Braves have better beef than they did when they met 10 years ago. Corey Sanderlin up front, Casey Jordan, Jamari Horton. They're better equipped in the line of scrimmage. I think this is a closer game, but I think when it's all said and done, the result lies with Highland Springs probably moving on. And if you get Highland Springs Maury or Highland Springs Stonebridge, what an epic final it'll be. Coming up at 5 o'clock next Saturday at James Madison. I'll be there with Andy Hayes on the call on the NFHS Network. We've got the 11:30 a.m. Championship game in Class 6 at JMU. That'll either be Oscar Smith against North Stafford, Oscar Smith against West Springfield, or if Madison gets in, it'll be Warhawks and Wolverines, Warhawks and Spartans. We shall see. Let's go to Class 4, and then we'll take a quick timeout and come back and do Class 3, 2, and 1 blast off. We've got a special wrestling guest that's going to join us here in a little bit too. I'm sure Ed will be pumped, and he'll be here with us for that. He won't miss that whatsoever. He can take a timeout from his basketball practice. In fact, that's what he's doing, which we still have not confirmed yet, ladies and gents. Class 4, you have Verina and Jefferson Forest, 2 defenses giving up under 10 points per game on the year. Caleb Weiss, player of the year on offense for Verina, quarterback junior who's poised, cool, calm, and collected. Jay-Sean Bull Richardson, one of 2 UVA signees on that Verina defense, along with Damari Carter, who doubles as a playmaking wide receiver for the Blue Devils, who lost in last year's final, if you recall, to Phoebus, who got knocked out last week by Lafayette. We'll touch on their matchup in a second. Jefferson Forest missing one of its 2 key two-way players in Thax Rowland. That's going to be a factor here. They don't throw the football a whole lot, but brand new offensive line for Coach JT Cruz this year. They moved over Slade Kesey, the Army pledge, who was the Seminole District Defensive Player of the Year, from tight end to tackle, and he gets Offensive Lineman of the Year in the Seminole. They're coming off a 49-point performance against GW Danville, so if they can milk the clock and play keep away, getting those first downs, especially on 3rd and short against Verina's defense, is no easy task. But I think the Jefferson Forest physicality and defense will keep them in this game for 2 to 3 quarters. I think, though, in the 4th quarter, the offense is going to have to make plays, and I'm not sure they're able to do that both through the air and by the ground. So I give the nod to the Blue Devils. This Loudoun County Lafayette game is a lot harder game to call the more I dive into it, folks, because it feels like Lafayette's been able to create more turnovers than Loco, but Loco's seen its passing game improve as the years going on with Jake Miller complementing Montez Dyson, a 5'7" running back who's got over 2,000 yards on the ground. He's rushed for over 100 yards in every game this season. And as I mentioned, they've had some receivers, Dom Gallant, along with Jeremiah Davis Jr., the Defensive Player of the Year in Region 4C, step up here as of late for the captains of Loudoun County, who doubled up Loudoun Valley last week. Lafayette's defense, though, they've not given up more than 17 points all year long. They've given up on the season just 5.8 points per game. Andy Lynn's Rams, I think they sprinkled enough of a passing attack. It could be the team with the ball last wins it. And if there's an overtime game today, that one's got a chance to be. I think that Loudoun County Lafayette game. Now, remember, Lafayette's had some tough breaks on the road in recent years. They lost last year by 20 to Kettle Run. They lost a few years back. I went up there to Mineral, Virginia when Louisa knocked them out. So they're going to try to squash some demons in that respect and get back to the state championship game for the second time in 3 years. Remember, they lost a couple years ago to Liberty Christian when they were in Class 3, moving up to Class 4 this year, and they've had no problem whatsoever in doing that. So Loudoun County, Lafayette, Verina, Jefferson Forest. We say good morning out there to Woody who I understand, little birdie, he was at Ed Young's home opener when the Packers took down IWA, Isle of Wight Academy, and did so pretty convincingly. We've got some high school basketball sound for all of you out there. We're going to actually head to break with one of those sound bites, come back from break with another one of those interviews, and then we'll go through Class 3, Class 2, Class 1. We have a wrestling conversation with Coach Young and yours truly interviewing one of the special guests that'll be at the VCW event tonight in Norfolk, Virginia. Yep, you were there, Woody. You were there. I got to witness it. I was over at the zoo, Western Branch in Nansemond River. But I did win a chicken sandwich from a restaurant that does not sponsor the show. Can't say it. From one of my administrative friends in the area. Now, I don't know if he'll pay up today when I see him at Lake Taylor. He probably will claim he never made this friendly gentleman's agreement. But I did proclaim that one of the television stations would have footage of that game. And give some props while I can right now to our buddy Brian Smith at 13 News Now. He went out there. He actually was at both those games. He went to see Smithfield, Isle of Wight, had clips, probably has it on their website. And then he went to see Western Branch and Nansemond River. But right now, before we come back and dive in on Class 3, Class 2, and Class 1 here on the solo act that it is for now of 757 Sports Talk, we're going to catch up with some high school basketball sound from an opener on Tuesday night in Norfolk. It was a rare public versus private matchup. The Oaks of Norfolk Collegiate, almost said Norfolk Academy and almost said Norfolk Christian. The Oaks of Norfolk Collegiate traveled to nearby Granby High School in Norfolk. It was game number 2 for Norfolk Collegiate, but game number 1 for Levi Wall and the Comets. And it was David Cochrane, his Norfolk Collegiate squad, pretty talented group, getting the W over Granby. And here's our conversation with Coach Cochrane, the son of another Coach Cochrane, which we talk about right here on Cova Sports TV. All right, here with first-year Norfolk Collegiate head basketball coach David Cochrane. His Oaks win at 55-51 in a barn burner against the Granby Comets here, a private school versus public school matchup. Coach, you were a heck of a shooter back in your day at Salem High in Virginia Beach. Did you think you'd win a basketball game against a rugged Eastern District team going 0 for 14 from 3?
Yes.
Okay, why's that?
Because, I mean, I know that we're the expensive private school across the street. We're rugged. Okay. We're physical. Every practice is tough. Every practice is intense. That's kind of how we institute a lot of our principles, a lot of our identity, our culture. So to me, this is kind of what I saw coming, a 50-something point game. Our goal is to keep them under 53, and we did that.
Let's talk about your defense because it was pretty stifling for most of the game. They have a couple of dynamic playmakers like Antonio Williams, Deshaun Spellman, who's a Division I recruit. Yeah, Gabe Soul played well. But it felt like you wanted to make them settle for jumpers, keep them out of the paint, and you did a good job inside. What was sort of the strategy? Mix it up defensively, keep them off balance?
Our strategy was we wanted to get them out of rhythm. Okay. We wanted to, A, get into multiple zone looks, B, get into pack line, kind of Tony Bennett-style defense, mix all three of them in, and try to get them off rhythm because they're so talented that if you don't get them off their rhythm, they just get into the flow.
Sure.
They beat a lot of teams, like almost anyone.
Yeah. You got a lot of good players on your basketball team. Legend Bunch is a youngster for people to watch out for. Sam Nady-Horsky inside. Yes, and then some other guys, the role players, I thought, from Mills to Wright. Speak on some of those guys. Gavin Millette. You had guys that stepped up at different points of the game. What do you see from your group?
I see a lot of guys that got overlooked the past 2 years, besides Sam Nady-Horsky. I see a lot of guys who got overlooked. I see a lot of guys that didn't get in at particular schools or got short leash, and they wanted an opportunity. A lot of them came here. I was lucky enough and blessed enough to be part of their lives before, and they came, and I think they have something to prove. You're going to see this every single game we have. Like, sure. We feel we can. We weren't even in the top 20 in Virginia Pilot. It bothered them today. Mm-hmm. Like, we think we have a chance to be the best team in the area. And we have always got back.
Yeah, for sure. Come on, we'll let you run here. You're the son of a legendary high school basketball coach, and Bill Cochrane is in the stands watching. I see he's into it throughout the game. Tell me about what it's like just to have his tutelage and what the tips he's giving you on this journey here.
Oh man, I got him involved, man. He's itching, and I know he played at Carolina, so he goes to all the Carolina games still, but he's sacrificing a lot of that to come to these games. He's involved with strategy. He's involved with a lot of things, man. I love hearing everything he's got to say. He's got, to me, I believe this, and I'm really honest to God trying to be unbiased. He's the best teacher of the game, best strategist of the game, I think.
Well, to that, I'm sitting with one of the photographers here, Andre Washington, and I say with under 10 seconds to go, you're up by 4. I said, I know these Cochranes, they're going to think they have a couple fouls to give, and you did that. Yeah. So you let the time tick down. How much are you thinking in those situations, time and score? I know it's a big thing that he's taught you over the years.
No doubt. We do situations at the end of every single practice. We practice that situation. Up 3, 57 seconds, our ball, they're pressing. So we got every situation that we've worked on. We're ready for those things. We're even. I feel like we're pretty even keeled for the most part. Even though a lot of them are inexperienced, I feel that we've been working hard to kind of get ready for those situations. And, dude, they executed. I'm proud of them, for real.
Lastly, you also have some good young blood on your – I know you work with these kids throughout the summertime to now. And you have some good young blood that have played basketball and started in the area recently, like Kendall Bynum from Western Branch, Virginia State, P.J. Gill, who played at PA and Old Dominion. Tell me what just this brotherhood and bond you all have from coaches to players and how that's helping you on the court.
They're amazing. Seriously. They come in every day, do everything that's asked of them, plus more. They got great relationships with the players. They really take control of a lot of my player development stuff. And so we feel like we got a lot of bases covered right now. Like we have I'm not saying this for me. I think I have the best staff in the state. Like nothing about me, but those guys to me are the best staff, and they do a great job. They're a big part of why we win.
Well, it should be a fun year for Coach Cochrane and Norfolk Collegiate at the Oak House. Thank you so much. Congrats on the win. All right, so that was David Cochrane, son of former Salem living legend basketball coach Bill Cochrane, with us after his team's win over Granby on Tuesday night here on Cova Sports TV. It is 757 Sports Talk. We've got more sound clips and interviews from a couple of basketball coaches, including one of Ed Young's former pupils, Jonathan Wilson, the girls basketball coach at Granby, who will be coaching football for the Comets permanently, not just interim or temporary like he was to end this season. We'll chat with him about that. Plus, you'll hear from Joe Hassell, the guy that was under Ed Young and followed him up as the head basketball coach of the Warriors of Nansemond River. They beat Western Branch in its season opener. But we'll take a timeout. I did see Coach Young hop on here, and then he popped off. So I don't know what's going on with his stream or his connection. We will hear from one of those coaches when we come back. Also go through the Class 3, Class 2, and Class 1 semifinal matchups. Get Ed's take on some of those games as well. And a special wrestling guest, too, which we promised. It's a surprise for all you folks. It is Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you subscribe and interact with us all morning long. Stay tuned.
Did you know that the minimum limits in Virginia are $30,000? $30,000 is a lot of money on an individual basis, but if you're involved in a personal injury matter, that's not enough. Here at Williams-Deloitte, we're happy to provide a consultation on the amount of coverage you have in your vehicle. It can be confusing. Not many people understand it. You know you need to have it, but do you have enough? Give us a call today at 757-547-5555 so we can help you prepare in the case of an automobile accident or any other personal injury matter that you or your family may find yourself in.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why there's CHKD Sports Medicine. Advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger, fries, drink, and a sundae. No time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Okay, I'm here with Granby head girls basketball coach Jonathan Wilson. His team wins the opener 54-29 over Norfolk Collegiate. Coach, year 2 for you at the helm of this Granby program after coaching Norview to some state tournament appearances. What do you think of your group in their first game tonight?
Not bad. Some things that we need to work on. Young team, freshmen and sophomores, couple juniors. So we just got to work out some kinks, but we'll get better.
What do you think will be the strength of your team as you go through December and January and get closer to playoff time? It does feel like you have some talent on this team and can play up and down and also in the half court as well.
Our guard play is not bad. Need to settle down a little more, play with a little more poise and under control. But I think as our guards develop that type of mindset and control as we get better and they gain more game experience, we should improve.
Eastern District's always a quality league. You know about certainly the battles over the years with Sandra Sawyer at Lake Taylor. I hear Maury's going to be a team that's going to be improved. Give me your thought on the district in general, and also in Class 5, where we know Princess Anne is still the queen until they're dethroned.
Absolutely. Top across the board, it's going to be a tough game. Game in and game out in the Eastern District for girls. As you stated, those teams are very competitive, and we just got to go out and play. One possession at a time, one game at a time, and hopefully we can compete and play to our best potential.
You got a player or two that we should keep an eye out for that might be an all-region candidate by season's end, or someone that has a chance to play the next level when they continue to develop?
All of them are getting better.
Okay.
Got some good underclassmen. Micaiah Johnson, Tanaya Ricks is pretty solid. Corinne Harrell's pretty solid. Talia Canyon is pretty solid. So those girls are all underclassmen. But as they get better and learn how to play with more pace and poise, I think they could be kids to watch.
Come on for that you run. Appreciate the time. Certainly you've been a busy man here this year coaching the football team, and it's now been announced you're going to be the football coach for next season. How excited are you for that challenge, but also how tiring is it coaching a couple of sports here with the overlap? As I deal with it covering football and basketball, it can be a lot of sleepless nights, if you will.
It's a challenge. I'm excited and I'm up for it. I've done it before. But the good part now, I have a little more wisdom. So I'm putting together a staff of coaches that are actually smarter than me so that we can do things efficiently and effectively. And I'm empowering those guys to do their job. So we're looking forward to the change with the coaching staff and giving these guys an opportunity to show what they're capable of and coach up their positions. And hopefully we can be competitive as we get going in football as well.
You have a neat journey and career, the odyssey from your days playing for my man Ed Young at Norview High School, a teammate of Ivan Thomas, who's now the head basketball coach at Hampton University, and you took Norview boys to a state championship game. You've taken the Norview girls to the state playoffs. You hope to take the Granby girls deep into the playoffs and perhaps the states sooner than later, and also the Granby football team. Though it wasn't a great record, you got them to the playoffs after a winless start. What is it about the rebuilding processes that you relish, and also what you've learned from mentors and friends like Coach Young and Coach Thomas, people like that that are in your inner circle, if you will?
The biggest thing I learned from my mentor and coaches was to build relationships. So coming in as an intern, I let those coaches coach. I allowed those players to play within the system that they were already in. And I kind of just built relationship with those guys. And now I'm expanding on those relationships. And they understand that I have a passion for both basketball and football, but I'm concerned about them as well. So now that they understand that, they're putting in the work in the off season and they're getting 1% better in the little things that they can manage. And that's what I've learned. So now just building those guys up so that when we get back on the football field, we can be highly competitive and compete against the teams that we're supposed to compete against and beat those that we should beat.
He's doing a great job with the youth, the ladies of Granby High School on the hardwood, as well as the fellas on the gridiron for Granby. Jonathan Wilson, thank you so much. All the best.
Yes, sir.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Back here on Cova Sports TV and 757 Sports Talk, where Ed Young has magically appeared from some type of classroom that says, "Osa important dates, contact Mrs. Somebody." But you heard from Jonathan Wilson, Granby football coach and girls basketball coach moments ago. Good morning, sir. Edward, how's your weekend going thus far, and what did you make of the conversation, the little bits and pieces you heard from Coach Wilson?
First of all, good morning to everybody. I apologize for being late, but my team needed me, or put it this way, my team needed to hear some things. So we've got a tough week coming up, but I'm here now. Jonathan, I love Jonathan to death. Why he's taking on this crazy dual role, beyond me. God bless him. I wish him the best. Those kids are getting a tremendous coach person to lead them. And he talked about building relationships and getting to know those kids. That's a big strength of him. Plus, he knows his X and O's. But that's a heck of a job. Football and head basketball, they demand 12 months a year. I don't know how he's going to do it. We have a conversation coming up, and I'm going to fuss him out, but more power to him. And I'm just tickled for those kids to get somebody as good as him.
I hope he fusses you out for your lateness too, by the way. We do have some more state football semifinals to go through. You missed the beginning where I went through. I dived in depth on classes 6, 5, and 4. So you can save your comments for when I'm done going through 3, 2, and 1. Blast off. We might blast you away. Class 3, I'll be on the call. I'm so looking forward to this with my former partner in crime. We're reuniting today, Rod Johnson. We referenced a couple of times, former VirginiaPreps.com boss who coaches as an assistant over there at Kingsport with Anthony Jofrion. Remember, we talked about him and a running back, Sonic and Knuckles. He talked about Isaiah Gilliam and Preston Hall over there at Kings Fork. Well, Rod's going to be on the call with me for Lake Taylor Magna Vista. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. I get 3 straight weekends of playoff football with 3 different partners. I had Darnell Moore last week to coach, formerly of Bayside, and Woodrow Wilson, state title region champion coach and former Norfolk State football coach. I got Rod today, who's a scribe and a coach. So he sees it from both sides. And then next week I get to work with Andy Hayes on the NFHS network. And big thanks to Andy as we did a little test run last night. He was helping me troubleshoot all the cords and buttons and knobs, because if you were with me, it would go disastrous. We know that already. So that's why I got, Coach Moore and Rod and Andy for that. I'd leave you away.
Hey.
And we'll have the Class 6 and Class 5 finals next week at JMU, my dad's alma mater. And yes, he'll be in attendance for that. And yes, he's also looking forward to the JMU ODU matchup on the hardwood later this month in Norfolk. And yes, he is blasting all kinds of JMU fight song music this morning after their victory, their triumph over Troy, the men of Troy, in the Sun Belt Championship.
Well, let's take a couple of these in order.
Okay.
You got some great partners. They ain't Ed Young, and I'll leave it at that. And JMU, I don't care what Duke and Virginia do. JMU deserves one of those 12 spots, period. And so does Tulane, period. So we'll go from there. But a lot of action for JMU. It's going to be a lot of excitement. Big win last night on there. And, of course.
Did you watch any of that game? By the way, I wasn't watching it, but he's calling me, like, trying to give me play-by-play. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll look at it later. He was into it. He was into it.
Hey.
I think it was on the Deuce last night, ESPN2, I think.
Yeah.
But he was into it.
One Hatfield on play-by-play is enough. 2 is disastrous.
Yeah. This is a good point.
Right.
But if we weren't pressed for time, I would have probably reached out to our buddy Kurt Dudley, who I'm sure we'll get on. And they got a new coach, by the way, and I want to get your take on that later in the show when we have some time here. Billy Napier stepping in as the new man, former Florida Gator coach, because Bob Chesney is going out west to UCLA.
And I know we'll talk about it later, but remember where Billy Napier made his name in the Sun Belt with I think it was Louisiana.
Yep, Raging Cajuns.
The Cajuns, yep. So coming back home, so to speak, in terms of conference. So that'll be interesting.
So we got sidetracked with all that. Lake Taylor plays Magna Vista today. You're taking the Titans. I don't want to say who too loud I'm picking because I might get thrown at. I'm going to be in the press box of the home team, and I might get
Hank
trouble.
Sawyer, I'm going to say it. Hank Sawyer, your buddy Hatfield's taking Magna Vista. Can you believe it?
Well, you can't say it right. It's Magna Vista, not Vista.
I don't care how to say it. They're not being.
I will tell you this. I think it's going to be a great game played in the 40s. I was stunned at your pick in the 20s. These two offenses average over 44 points per game. Magna Vista's receivers are for real. Lake Taylor's running game is for real. They've got 3 players over 1,000 yards rushing this year for Lake Taylor with Keon Johnson, Jeremiah Farabee, and the quarterback in Kevin Adams. I don't think the defense will stop the other team unless they get sacks or takeaways, which is always possible in a game of football. And I do think the kicking game will be a factor. And you got two great coaches. Joe Favero's won back-to-back at Magna Vista, and Hank Sawyer's won 3 state titles, trying to get a 4th to match his wife.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going with Hank, because he don't get this. He might be on the outside looking in at the house or on double chore duty for the longest time. So that's my main reason for going with Hank.
Well, here's the great stat for Coach Sawyer. Lake Taylor is a perfect 6-0 in the state semifinal round under Coach Sawyer. 7-0 all time when you go back to the 1980s when they beat Dinwiddie in 1982, 14-10 under the late Billy Morrow as coach. So they've never lost a state semifinal game. We'll see if that happens today. Speaking of history, Liberty Christian trying to go for the 3-peat. They're taking on Kettle Run today, and it's going to be in Nokesville, not in Lynchburg. Liberty will get to play at Liberty University for the 3rd straight year in the state finals. Remember, they beat Lafayette 2 years ago, and last year beat Kettle Run in this championship game. Final score was 42-6 in that game against Kettle Run. I think the real key to that game is simple, Ed. If you're Kettle Run, You got to get stops on third down because LCA was 6 of 9 in last year's game, 5 of 6 in the first half. If you don't get off the field on third down, you're in trouble against that team.
Yeah, I'm going with LCA. I just think a little bit more athletic business going on, and I think something has me thinking LCA is going to do something on special teams today that's going to be a big break in the game. I have no idea why, but it's in my head. That's why one of the main reasons I'm going with LCA.
Well, there's a lot in your head, but I think the difference is actually going to be the athleticism. I think Kettle Run's got good athletes. Dyson Tapp's got the quarterback, some skill players that catch the football, run the football, rally to the football on defense. I think the line of scrimmage is where LCA wins this game with Austin Tremblay, who's committed to Liberty, and Jackson Manning on the O-line. I think up front is where they held Heritage of Lynchburg last week to under 2 yards per carry. That defense has become nasty, and I think that'll be the difference. And what might be that might be the lower scoring game compared to Lake Taylor Magna Vista, where I think it's 1st to 40, and they're going to keep that scoreboard lighting up, which is what I'm hoping for all day. The weather is not the greatest right now. It's kind of drizzly. It's not snowy, which is great. That's a good thing. But it's in the low 40s, upper 30s. Slight wind. It could be a little windier in other parts of the state, but I don't know that the weather will be that big of a determining factor in these games today. How about you?
I think that you'll see a lot of my scores are low, and that's why I'm thinking it's sloppy field. You know, it's going to get muck and mire there in the middle, and those running teams might have a little bit of trouble in that. And if you're a throwing team, you might have to cut the throws down to 4 or 5 yard little touch passes, so to speak. I think weather could hurt somebody. I know everybody's going to say, well, both teams are playing in it. But again, depending on your style of play, it can have an effect in terms of trying to get your footing. So, but we'll see. But at this point now, man, you can't worry about anything other than trying to move on into a state championship. So regardless whether you're in snow or whatever, and if this would have been yesterday, and maybe some of the places around the state are going to be in snow because some places did get, a very noticeable amount of snow, whether it be an inch or two.
Yeah, they were out of school in Richmond, by the way. Did you say Muck and Meyer?
Muck and Meyer, buddy. Oh, Muck and Meyer.
I don't know them. I don't know them at all. So
they listen to the show.
Muck and Meyer does? Okay.
Hey, speaking of the show, I got to see one of our top fans, if not the top fan, that listens all the time. Up at Lafayette last week. Woody.
Yeah, Woody was there.
Woody came up and said, Coach, I want to see what your squad can do. And after the game, he came back and said, I wonder who Smithfield is going to hire next. And then he walked out to the gym.
Yeah, we got to get, what we got to get? We got to get, if you're going to be doing the show from the building, we got to get you like a little background that has like a little Smithfield Packer background, or even like we had our banner with our cartoon faces. We got to get you a nice little background. And I'm in the high-tech studio today, so.
Yep, yeah, you sure are. I mean, you went from the piano to gadgets that haven't been invented yet. Go back and play one of those. Move one of those levers and see what it does.
One of these? Which one? Back here? You want me to move one?
Take a walk back there. I want to see which levers.
Nah, I don't want to take a walk. I might fall. There's a lot of cords. I don't want to fall. It could be bad. I don't like to, do all that. So
there's a time machine in there. I can't wait till you get inside it and hit the button for 1962.
You're so bad. You're so mean. Why are you so mean-spirited? You're like the Scrooge before Christmas. Well, I'll tell you what, it was not a pleasant experience for Poquoson last year at home against the Strasburg Rams. Strasburg won the meeting with the Bull Islanders. We talked with Carter Jones last week. By the way, I love the feedback on the interview with Carter was great. People enjoyed hearing him on the show last week. 14-13, Strasburg pulled it out last year. These are two running games. I think you said it best last week on our TV portion of the program. Great line play, lots of running. So my question to you is, sir, what swings the game? I feel like Poquoson's better to rip the ball away, get a fumble, some type of timely takeaway. You got James Miller back there with a lot of interceptions, but I feel like that could be the difference along with the kicking game and a Strasburg-Poquoson game that's going to be played between the tackles for most of the day.
Yeah, I kind of feel a key turnover. It's going to be a close game again. And could I jump into special teams play and say, can somebody get a block punt? Could somebody return a punt? A scramble on a kickoff, a squib kick that kicking team picks back up. Could it be that which wins the game? Because it's two teams very evenly matched. They got a little history together. So it's going to be something out of the ordinary. And I think it could be a special teams play.
And remember last year, Pocosin had the great punter in Josh Mitchell. Their punting game's not bad now, but I think Pocosin's defense is going to be better equipped to stop that run game with Strasburg. Last year was really a 1-2 punch with Taki Coates and Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams is the main ball carrier now because Coates graduated for Strasburg. I think Pocosin's going to eke it out close, but that's a coin flip game, much like the other Bay Rivers team involved with Lafayette traveling up to see Loudoun County. The good news for Pocosin is they're at home again for the second straight year, and their defense has been pretty consistent. Glenver and Union in just a moment, Ed, but hold on a second. I see all this background you got there. Where's the pinata? You got a pinata? You got to like hit the pinata and get candy back there? What do you got going on? Is that a pinata back there?
I'm not at liberty to say, hold on.
Oh, now he's afraid. He knows the powers that be are watching. Okay, it's all right. 1-1 on the season as he's getting ready for a big matchup on Monday night against the Bruton Panthers. Hopefully he's not going to be shaking in his boots for that one. Glenver, Union, 13-0, each of which is Woody says hello to you again. And by the way, Derek Fulgham, I heard, was there as well. I'm getting double updates. I'm in the chicken joint near Western Branch. I can't say what the name of the place is because they don't sponsor the show. And I'm ordering my number one combo. And I get simultaneous texts from both Woody and Derek of your game. And I'm like, well, I'm not missing anything because this thing, I'm getting updates from them. Didn't miss a thing. So Derek's in Ohio right now, I believe is what he told me. He's checking out some football there. Glenver, Union. The Highlanders haven't lost. The Bears haven't lost. We know what the Bears have gone through. The coach is missing. U.S. Marshals now are offering a $5,000 reward if you know where Travis Turner is. So, Ed, you want to make $5,000, tell the folks where he is. But Union's got a really good defense. They get takeaways. They run the ball with Keith Chandler. Glenver throws it extremely well with Brody Doyle. But as I mentioned to you last week, I feel like the Glenver defense is being slept on for this game. They're giving up less than 4 points per game, and I just wonder if all the hoopla, all the stuff that's been swirling around Union finally exhausts them today. They are at home in Big Stone Gap at Bullitt Park, but this Glenver team has been chomping at the bit to get to the championship game after losing last year in the semifinals to Graham, and they turned the ball over in that game 3 different times. I think 4 actually, 3 or 4 times. One late. It was a back-and-forth game. I think Glenver's ready for this moment. I really do.
You know, I've said the last 2 weeks, Union can't win. They got too much swirling around them. They got national news. They got people all over the place. They just can't. These are kids. This has to affect them. And they won both games. And I keep saying, wow, hats off to these kids, the coaches that have kept them focused, kept all that craziness away. I mean, they're missing their head coach who's put this program together, and they keep winning. So this time I'm still going to pick against them, not because of what's surrounding everything. I just think Glenvar is that good. And I think Glenvar is going to take advantage of themselves coming in here and playing their game, which I think is a little bit more than Union has. But what I don't know is that getting inside the head or the heart of these Union kids, that how much has this rallied them together to say, we're winning the state title, whether our coach is here or not. And nobody's taking it from us, regardless who's here and whatever. I don't know. That's the part we don't know. They're talented. Yes, they're undefeated. But I'm just thinking 16, 17, 18-year-old kids mentally, can they handle what's swirling around them? But I just think, once again, I think I'm going Glenvar in a close game.
Now, listen, this is taking nothing from Pecos and Strasburg. I think this is the championship game from the standpoint of you have the only 2 undefeateds left in the state. And I feel like the winner of this game is going to be labeled the favorite next week. Doesn't mean they beat Pecos and Strasburg, but it's a favorite. My quick follow-up to you before we go to Class 1 and take a break. Gatorade State Player of the Year. We mentioned it when we had Lynn Burke on after his book came out in October, the Hampton Roads Football Encyclopedia book. We've only had 3 Gatorade State Player of the Year recipients in the last 15 years from Hampton Roads. Demetrius Nicholson, defensive back from Bayside, who went on to play at UVA. Wayne Davis, defensive back at Lake Taylor, who went on to play at Ohio State, then James Madison University, and is now an assistant coach for the Commodores of Maury High and Doreen McCain. And then the last one was Andrew Brown, Gatorade National Player of the Year from Oscar Smith, defensive lineman who went to UVA and has played in the National Football League with a couple of different teams. I don't think we get a 7.57 guy that gets it this year, though I do believe Travis Johnson of Oscar Smith is one of the best players in the entire state. Signed with Michigan this week as he was almost flipped to Virginia Tech and James Franklin. But to me, it probably comes down to 2 guys. The Louisa 5-star running back Savion Hyder, who's going to Michigan, like Travis Johnson, a 5-star, didn't have a great playoff outing against the Huguenot Falcons when they lost in the semifinals. And then Brody Doyot, the quarterback for Glenver, who, look at his numbers, had 133 career touchdown passes. He's rushed for 705 yards this season. And he's also played defensive end with a team-high 17 quarterback sacks. He's signed with Charlotte. UVA tried to get him, but he stuck to his commitment with Charlotte. And you heard his conversation last month that he had with Robert Anderson that we played on the show. And you can go back and find it on Cova Sports TV on YouTube. So my question to you is, who would you go with? You know, the academic pieces involved with the Gatorade committee. Would you go with Hyder? Would you go with Johnson? Would you go with Doyot? Would you go with somebody else? Because I feel like it's going to probably go to Hyder. But, boy, when you do it on both sides of the ball like Doyot has, I know it's Class 2 football. It's not Class 6, Class 5. I feel like Doyot's the most deserving guy.
You just stole my thunder. I would be swayed towards him when I heard defensive lineman. Normally, if a quarterback's playing the defense, he's in defensive backfield, maybe linebacker. Defensive line, where he's got to bust up every play, bang people, and they know he's the quarterback, and he's still getting to people. That's impressive, let alone what he does as a quarterback. I would go with him. Now, the question is this selection made before the playoffs, or is it going to be a few weeks after everything?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So generally, and I've had some of the people at Gatorade reach out to me over the years. I've not heard from an official from them yet. And they talk with coaches. It's a committee. It's a collaborative effort. It's not one person making a choice here. They generally announce it state semifinal week or going into the state championship game. At least in the past, I'm not sure when it will come out this particular year. But winning the state championship is not the end-all, be-all of this. I think people believe that's what it is. If you remember last year, Nate Ament got it from Highland, which I thought was a slam dunk for basketball. He's now at Tennessee and is a projected first-round lottery pick for Rick Barnes' Vols to the NBA. He beat out Paul VI standout Jordan Smith. And I think this year for basketball, the two favorites are Jordan Smith from PVI and Latrell Allman from Petersburg, the Oklahoma State signee. But there's a lot that goes into it. It's not if you win the state championship or not. It's more than just that. It's what are you doing in the community, your academics. It's a big piece to this. So we'll see. I don't know if he'll get it. Now, one thing on his bracket that's wrong here is I have Rappahannock as a 1 seed. They're actually a 3 seed. They beat the 1 seed in Essex. So you have a 3, a 5, a 3, and a 3. This is the Ed Young ball up my bracket in the trash can come March and April with the NCAA tournament because he didn't have these 4 teams, nor did I. It's Rappahannock, it's Buffalo Gap, it's Grayson County and Rye Cove, a rematch of last year's state semis that Grayson County won 40-34. I'm not sure it'll be as high scoring. Rappahannock ousted Essex. Buffalo Gap shocked Riverheads. They were 4-6 regular season, and they had a kid in Isaac Goff score 7 touchdowns against the Gladiators last week. So I'll hold your feet to the fire. Who's the last team standing in this foursome right here? Because pick a card, any card.
Buffalo Gap is the upstarts from nowhere who, if we always would say, losing record should not be in the playoffs. They wouldn't even be in the playoffs, and yet they're playing for a potential state championship next week if they win now.
So let me stop you there. Does that make you reconsider your opinion of that?
I still say 500 or better. You can't
You're
get
a hater.
I'm a hater.
Will Ed Young, ladies and gents, stick to that 500 or better if his Smithfield Packers go 10-12 this year and he's left out by a game? Oh, he will? Okay. All right. Just wondering.
I have to. I can't preach one thing and do something else. I ain't like you, Two-Face. Come on now.
Whoa. When did I become Two-Face? I got one face. It's right here. I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty.
One of my favorite comics is Dick Tracy because they have the craziest villains. You would be fantastic on Villain Row with like flat top, prune face. There is a guy called Two-Face. He has 2 faces. And Muggsy, Bugsy, and you would have been perfect.
Oh, I've seen Muggsy. Yeah, I've seen that. Bugsy, yeah.
Perfect. Give me this whole group. Probably going to go with I'm looking hard at Rappahannock because how they beat Essex. Essex machine out there.
Well, and if the running back is healthy, Kenneth Madison. So Will Garlick, my teammate at Virginia Prep, saw them against Essex the last two times in the last year, and he was hurt in that game. He wasn't hurt a couple weeks ago when he ran for 370 yards and 6 touchdowns against Northampton, though he wasn't as big a factor against Essex last week. They threw the ball more with C.J. Billy, so they can throw it. They're not run dependent, but I think if he's healthy at full strength, I think Rappahannock's the last team standing. If he's not, though, up for grabs.
Yeah, I'd go with Rappahannock, but again, I'm always talking about the teams at full strength. If they're missing a key guy or two, and I don't know that, I'm not necessarily going to go with them unless, like Maury. If Maury loses, like they got the kid Simmons, the linebacker, out, still think they have enough strength, but it's going to be a little tougher because he's that good. But if he's out, if he can't play, I'd probably go to the other bracket. And I think I picked Grayson County, if I'm not mistaken.
You did, as did I. We all did, in fact.
I would go with Grayson County to win it if Rappahannock's not 100%.
No love for the Rye of the Cove. Let's real quickly get your picks on the other 5 divisions of not who wins each game, because people can find that on virginiapreps.com, the full in-depth previews that our entire crew has done. Last team standing in Class 6. Is it Oscar Smith or is it somebody else?
I'm playing homer. Give me Oscar Smith.
You are a homer and not Simpson. Class 5. You mentioned the injury to Ike Simmons, Maury Stonebridge. Something says to me, if you put up an odds board, people are going to say the winner of Maury Stonebridge, Maury's the favorite here. But maybe the safe, not money, we're not going to say money, the safe pick would be, of these 4, the safe pick would be Highland Springs, because they feel like they're the safer pick to win of the 2. Then they just got to win the game over Stonebridge or Maury, and they might be a slight dog in that matchup. What says you, sir?
Well, I tell you, whoever comes out of Maury Stonebridge is going to be beat up a little bit.
Right.
Those are 2 behemoths going at it.
Right.
I think I'm going with Maury in that, and I think I got Highland Springs. And I think in the ensuing week, Maury will get themselves ready, and I'll go with Maury to win it all.
So you're staying with Maury. You're sticking to your guns on it. All right. I'm going to take a lot of flack for this. I'm one of the few people on the island taking Stonebridge today. I do think if it's Maury Highland Springs, it's advantage Maury slightly over Highland Springs. I think Highland Springs is better equipped to go beat Stonebridge coming off a win over Maury. So because of all that I said, I'll do what I just said. I'll take Highland Springs to win the championship, which I did not believe for a second in late September, early October that would happen. But right now, I'll go out on that limb and say an 804 team takes the Class 5 crown. And I think an 804 team takes the Class 4 crown with Verina winning this in Class 4. Do you concur?
Let me back you up. Is it because Simmons is out for Maury? Is that why you're switching?
Correct. If Ike Simmons was definitely playing today, which we're hearing it's highly doubtful. If he plays with that injury, then he's a warrior god. He's not. Max Scherzer no longer is the warrior god that Tony Kornheiser's declared him, the baseball pitcher. It's Ike Simmons, because there's no way I think he can play with that injury. I mean, I don't think it's humanly possible. But if he was to play and at full strength, I would pick Maury tight against Stonebridge. But with him out, I don't know if their run defense can hold up for 4 quarters. That is the main reason why I'm picking them. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep, it is. But I think it's a toss-up. I don't think it's cut and dry. I mean, you can make a compelling argument either way. And for any of those 3 teams, Indian River, if they were to win it, that would be the shocker. That would be your, NC State beating Houston, Cinderella surviving advanced Jim Valvano story, because with a freshman quarterback, my goodness. Who is the real good defensive end for Stonebridge? What he wants to know. Well, they have a linebacker edge guy who's going to Tennessee. That's Kedrick Golson II, who was the player of the year for Stonebridge in that Region 5C. But Woody, they have a couple of good defensive ends. He plays more of an outside backer role. If you have a jersey number, I can tell you right now, because I have the rosters in front of me. So you got to give me a number, Woody. Give me a jersey number, because they have a lot of good players. Kellen Nash at defensive end is good. They got a lot of good players. I need a jersey number. Give me a jersey number, and I'll tell you who it is. But Verina, Loudoun County, Lafayette, Jefferson Forest. Is it Verina's to take or Verina's to lose?
I'm going with Verina, but I talked with Andy Lynn at Lafayette.
Yeah.
Up there, I saw him. He wouldn't let me in. I was going through the metal detector, and he called the security on me. And
good job.
Then he said,
I'm glad he did.
He says, Coach Wade, I'm sorry. I thought you were Hatfield. I said, no, don't ever get me mixed up.
Oh, he didn't say that. Stop lying. He never said that. Andy Lynn likes me better than he likes you. Stop that.
No, he says he can't wait till you come visit Lafayette because he got something for you. And I said, yeah, pow, right in the kisser. But yeah, we did. I had a good conversation with Andy.
You see this? This is his brother.
Andy is real confident. He feels good. I said, you got some heavyweights. And he, Coach, what we run, a lot of people don't see, and some people can't defend it very well. So he's very excited, very in there. And I mean, he respects those teams because they have been there constantly. But I'm going Verina, but I tell you what, Andy's making me a believer. I'm drinking that Lafayette Kool-Aid, I guess. Even though we lost up there this week, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I'm looking hard at Lafayette, but I'm going to still stick with Verina. I just hope Lafayette is in that championship game.
My man Rusty Bird, who I did the Last Word podcast with him, go check it out. I shared it on my Facebook and my Twitter, my X We might put a link up on VirginiaPreps.com. We broke down some games. He's laughing at your joke there. And our man Monty, Cool Kid Fenner. I remember Monty, former Oscar Smith Tiger, who went on to play at Towson. Had a heck of a career. He's at Smith. I'm up here today. Smith. I guess you're saying, Monty, you're up at the Madison game is what you're telling me. So make sure you send me updates, Monty, because I'll be on the air. Me and Rod will be calling the game at Lake Taylor today. But we'll be following and passing along updates. And matter of fact, NFHS Network is the place. If you want to watch any games that you can't be at, it does require a subscription, but you can go back and watch the games live, archived. We'll pass along updates and scores as we get them as well. So there you go. And you're welcome for the shout out there, Rusty. All right. So Verona, Class 4, and then we covered your pick for Class 3, Class 2, Class 1, or no? Let's see who Coach Jones got here, by the way, because we know your picks are so stellar right now in the NFL. They are just – you're knocking them out of the park right now in the NFL.
Whoa. We're not talking NFL pick. Who's ahead in the high school picks? No,
you're not. The Massey ratings are actually beating –
who gives a darn about Massey? Who's Massey? Johnny Massey?
It's a computer.
Nobody cares about Massey.
I think his name might be Jefferson. I'm not even sure. Massey computer ratings. But you're actually down a game to me. You were up, and you almost caught me. Yeah, you're down a game.
I understand. You wrote it in pencil so you can erase some of my stuff.
No, I didn't. People can see it. It's up there for all the people. Thank you, Monty. And Rusty will be there at the Maury Stonebridge passing updates. So good to know. And Andy will have it covered with the broadcast up there. Again, all kinds of great coverage across the network today. So Class 3, you going with LCH or 3-peat, or are you going elsewhere? Because I'm going to surprise you with my pick to win the bracket here.
I'm going give me the other team in there. Other teams?
Well, you got 4 teams. It's right there on the screen, knucklehead. You got Lake Taylor, Magna Vista, Kettle Run.
On the phone, I can't see it.
You're on the phone. You can't see it. So it's right. Lake Taylor, Magna Vista.
It's big as your brain. That's why I can't see it.
It's Lake Taylor, Magna Vista, Kettle Run, Liberty Christian.
Oh, give me Lake Taylor. Are you kidding me?
You really think they win a championship? Really?
I'm going Lake Taylor, Hank, baby. I'm staying in Hank's back pocket, man. We're going Lake Taylor.
You just don't want Sandra Sawyer, his wife, to yell at you. I don't want her to yell at me either, for that matter. But I'm going to go with Magna Vista. I will say this, though. I think the winner of that game is going to take it, which is the different take I had from when I told you a month ago, and I've been saying it all year, that I thought the winner of Heritage LCA takes it. I think LCA gets there, but I feel like those two offenses can get enough points on the board to outlast LCA in a heck of a final. And then you mentioned in Class 2, you got Glenver.
Yes.
And I got Glenver in Class 1. You got Rappahannock, as do I. So there you go. That covers it all. We're going to take a timeout. But when we come back from break, Ed's so looking forward to this. We will be joined by we're going to get back to football talk, folks, so don't panic. But there's a big wrestling show coming up tonight. The Greek god Papadon is going to join us. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into with this. He's the bad guy, right? Papadon?
He's a heel.
He's a heel.
Terms right. He's a heel.
Oh, well, that's why you and he will get along, because you're both heels. There it is. It's the Tidings of Destruction coming up tonight at the Norfolk Masonic Temple. He's going to face Mr. Excellence Brandon Scott. This ought to be interesting, because I have no idea where this is going to go coming up when we return from break. So,
and I'll be there.
Maybe. Oh, you'll be at the show tonight, you mean?
I'll be at the show.
Okay. I was going to say, we don't know if you'll be there for the interview, because Lord knows we got Papadon coming up, and your connection can go out any second. So, anyhow, quick timeout. We'll come back with more, and we'll also do NFL picks and some quick college football thoughts and finish up on the high school topics before we sign off at 12 noon. It is 757 Sports Talk, and they are watching where, Ed?
Everywhere on Kova Sports TV.
Stay tuned.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries, just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Kova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit kovapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
It's 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and the one and only Coach Ed Young. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Cova Sports TV. From high school football and basketball to the NFL, MLB, college sports, and the NBA, if it's making headlines, they are breaking it down. Bold takes, big-time guests, and a few laughs, especially at the expense of that basketball coach, Ed Young. Catch it on Cox TV and your view, and don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Cova Sports TV.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
You see it right there. Big wrestling event coming to Hampton Roads as part of Virginia Championships Wrestling's Tidings of Destruction coming up on December 6th at the Norfolk Masonic Temple, Granby Street. Doors opening up at 6:30 with bell time at 7:30. We are delighted with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. Will be joined by a special guest. He is known as the Greek god, Papa Don, who will be in action against Mr. Excellence. You just saw it there a moment ago. We'll put it back up for you, along with our good pal, Mr. George Pontus, taking on Mr. Excellence, Brandon Scott. We are delighted to be joined by the Greek god, Papa Don. Thank you so much for coming on. How you been?
I am doing fantastic.
Well, great. It's good to have you on the program. Let's dive into your background. I know people that follow VCW and wrestling are familiar with you, but some of our audience might not know about how you got involved with the sport, how this matchup came about. So sort of give us your beginnings, if you will, and how pumped you are for this matchup.
Oh, first of all, I'm very pumped up for this matchup. Not to take anything away from Brandon Scott besides his poor choice of aligning himself with the VCW fans. He is a great competitor. So anytime him and I do battle, it's always an epic encounter. Last time we wrestled was the first time we wrestled singles, one-on-one, and this is the second time we're going to obviously have a singles match. He couldn't get the job done. He couldn't beat the Greek god. So that's that. So I'm very excited to smack that punk from pillar to ring post, on the 6th, and do it in front of the Norfolk, Virginia wrestling fans. But as far as I am concerned, I've been wrestling now 26, almost 27 years. I got involved in professional wrestling and started training in June of 1999. I had my first match July 17th, 1999, which is my 22nd birthday, because I was born on July 17th, obviously, for you slow people out there. And I was trained none other by the legendary 187 Notorious Homicide down at the LIWF Doghouse. So I've been wrestling all over the world for the last 27 years, doing my thing and doing it well.
That's terrific. Now, I'm not even going to try to attempt to pronounce your name properly, first and last name, because I butcher it. I know George does, Ed does. But tell us how you got dubbed the Greek god, Papa Don.
Well, Papa Don is a short version of my long last name, Papa Donio. You take off the IOU of Papa Donio, you have Papa Don. And the reason why I am the Greek god is because I'm Greek. So it's not very far-fetched here. And, when you become a professional wrestler / sports entertainer, you need some kind of shtick. You can't just come out to the ring as, "Hi, I'm John Smith from Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm going to beat you up." No one's going to pay money to see that. So you got to put a little flavor on it. So I said, what can I do? Because when I initially started, I was just Papa Don. And then I was in a tag team for about 5-6 years with another wrestler, Ed Toscano, whose wrestling name was Havoc. So it was Papa Don and Havoc. We were known as the Solution because everybody else was the problem. And we were managed by the sure thing John Shane. That lasted about 5 or 6 years. And then I went singles. And someone goes, "Yo, you need some kind of moniker. You need a catch. You have to have something to your name. You can't just be Papa Don." So I said, "What about the Greek god?" He goes, "Why?" Because I'm Greek. And Greeks invented wrestling. That makes me better than you. It's in my DNA. I have wrestling in my blood. Perfect. Let's run with it. And there it is.
The rest, as they say, Ed, is history, as he's wearing the NWO.
And Greeks invented history, so I know a thing or two about history. So there you go.
There you go.
Man, I tell you what, Mr. Papadon, you're educating me on all that because I didn't know the Greeks invented everything like you say they are. But I'm going to believe you. Now, being a high school basketball coach, long-time teacher, I got to ask you, did you do any wrestling grassroots in high school, anything like that, or military or whatever to get your original start?
No, I mean, I am an athlete. I've been playing sports all my life. My brother will say not well because my brother and I have a competition amongst ourselves. He's a collegiate football player, my brother. So all my life I've been very active with sports, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, stickball, handball, whatever. I never wrestled in school, always wanted to, but my parents were Greek immigrants. They came to this country, legally that is, and they were very strict when it came to school. They wanted me to have a bright future, and they said, listen, if you're going to go into sports, you can't work a job and have sports because your grades are going to slip. So I liked making some money at the time because I have a comic book habit, or I had a comic book habit at the time, and I just never got into it. Now, two things to come full circle is that as a young kid, there's two things I wanted to do in my life. One was draw comic books for Marvel or DC. And my father wouldn't let me go to art school. I'm a fantastic drawer. You can ask George. And I felt like
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
I couldn't find an address. And then I ended up picking up a Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. And in the magazine, they had the guide to the independents. I'm like, the hell are the independents? All I knew at the time was NWA, AWA, WWF, and ECW, all the national companies. And I said, let me take a look. So I'm looking through a book, all these companies in the United States that are independent wrestling companies. And lo and behold, there was one in Queens, New York, where I grew up, called the LIWF, the Long Island Wrestling Federation, ran by Bobby Lombardi. So I walked in one bright day, started training. A month later, I was a professional wrestler.
How about that story, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody has to start in a certain way. Now I got to ask you, who were some of your influences when you were younger? When you say Greek God, I'm a big-time, old-time wrestling fan. I remember the guy from way back. You might not even remember, too. I know George does. The Golden Greek, John Tullis.
Yeah, I know him. I know John.
Okay.
Jim Lundis. I know all the Greeks. Actually, want to hear a funny story? You might think that the biggest draw in wrestling history, gate-wise, is Hogan or Stone Cold or The Rock. It isn't. The biggest draw of all time in professional wrestling history is Jim Lundis when he went back to Greece to defend the original NWA title, not the National Wrestling Alliance, the National Wrestling Association title, which merged with the National Wrestling Alliance earlier on in the National Wrestling Alliance career. And they had a gate in Greece. And if you present value the money, it's still the largest draw of any sporting outcome when it comes to professional wrestling. So, yeah, I know my history as well as far as professional wrestling goes. I'm a student of the game, if you say.
There you go. I didn't know that, though, about the biggest draw of that jump. That's pretty cool.
Greeks invented everything. We're the best at everything. The fact of the matter is, we've given you guys, and when I mean you guys, I mean the world. We're the forefathers of civilization. We've given the world everything on a silver platter, and unfortunately, it's been messed up. Whether it's democracy, mathematics, science, there's so much greed and corruption, through the corporations and everything. They muffled everything up. So I'm not allowing that to happen with wrestling. I'm taking charge, and I take control and make sure that the wrestling I present is the realest wrestling you'll ever see, the most believable wrestling you'll ever see. Everyone has their flavor of wrestling. vanilla chocolate strawberry. My flavor of wrestling is believability and reality. So when you come out there and you see me wrestle, people are going to say, whoa, these two really hate each other. Or, whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen, and I got you. That's why I'm a ring general. So.
There you have it. So we've got the Greek god Papadon with us here. Virginia Championship Wrestling matchup coming up Saturday night. Tidings of Destruction. Tickets available at the door. Norfolk Masonic Temple. Be there. Be square. 7:30 bell time. 6:30 doors opening up. It is 757 Sports Talk here on Cova Sports TV. Ed.
Well, again, I go back to Mr. Papadon and I say, you're going against Brandon Scott. You're second time ever. Everybody does things the right way. And it kind of sounds like you're going to do things your own way in this situation. And here's the piece de resistance. You have now brought in the infamous George Pontus as your manager. George is a good friend of our show. He's been on. He's a good man. But the last time we had him on, we got into words because he turned bad.
Yeah, you chewed him out, Ed. You were mean to George.
He did some crazy things. It shocked me. So apparently he's still on that level.
Listen, first of all, when it comes to Mr. Pontus, you will address him as Mr. Pontus, not George Pontus. You're not on his level. So what you need to do is take a step back and be the assistant coach in the conversation when you go Pontus. All right? That's first and foremost. Corrected. Yes, you do. Secondly, George is a very, very knowledgeable individual, and is with his brain, his intellect, and his wisdom in my corner, and my athletic prowess, and my strength, and my wrestling abilities, we're an unstoppable force. Brandon Scott couldn't get the job done last time. He's not going to get the job done this time. And the future of VCW, whether people like it or hate it, they're going to learn the hard way to respect it, is GGP, that's Greek Papadon for all you slow Norfolk wrestling fans, and Mr. Pontus. Because we're taking over and we're going to do what we always do, entertain the fans, give them their money's worth, but most importantly, we're going to set the record straight. We're going to do it the Greek way, the correct way, the best way.
Well, I get all that. I get Mr. Papadon and with Mr. Pontus, I get it. But you said earlier, the Greek gave us everything. They know everything. They're smartest. So why do you got to have somebody on your side if you already know everything?
Because
I'm kind of confused.
Okay, well, this is where you show your hand. I'm using a poker reference. I don't know if you guys know poker or not, but you just proved to me that you are a peasant and a lower intellect individual, because as a coach, you should know there's strength in numbers. So when I have George Pontus in my corner, that's two Greek brains, which makes it like 3,000 brains against one. And the odds are always going to be in our favor. Not only because we're Greek, not only because we're sexy individuals, not only because we're the greatest wrestlers and the best entertainers in that company, it's because obviously the law of averages, when the ratio is 1 against 3,000, obviously those with more win. It's the art of war, my friend.
Let me ask you, Papadon, if I can, do you relish hearing the crowd go against you? Does that spur you on more? Take me through kind of your mentality, as you know there will be a pro Brandon Scott crowd, but does that just egg you on even more and motivate you even more to just put down the beat down on them, if you will?
Listen, there's two types of people that come to the Virginia Championship Wrestling, okay? Those are the people that want to be me, which are all the males, because they can't be me, and all the females that want me. And that's usually their fat girlfriends or their smelly mothers or their ugly cousins and their sisters, who are usually the same thing as their girlfriends or their wives. So the point being is, I can't blame them for hating me, because envy is a very disgusting thing to have as an individual. And all these people are envious of my greatness, and they're envious of the way I look and the way I kick everyone's ass in the ring and I entertain the masses. So of course they're going to boo me, because they want to be me. And those that want to be with me in more ways than one can't have me, because I'm way above their they're how can I put it? I'm way above they're way below my standards, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't care. Boo me all you want. Bring all the pizza boxes that you want. Call me Little Caesars. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Fact of the matter is I thrive on your hate. Your hate makes me stronger, like the Emperor in Star Wars. I am the freaking dark side. So bring it. I don't care. You make me stronger, I'll destroy all your heroes and sit on my throne in Mount Olympus, just drinking my ouzo with a big smile on my face.
Ed, it's going to be a part of a big matchup. Again, you see the Greek god Papadon and George Pontus. Mr. George Pontus, doors opening up at 6:30, bell time at 7:30. Rex Lawless defending the Virginia Heavyweight Championship against former WWE Cruiserweight and ECW World Television Champ Kid Cash. You got L Day J challenging Commander King for the VCW Liberty Championship. Nice and Smooth put their VCW Tag Team Championship on the line against the Helm Golden Pinky Society, partnering up with Benjamin Banks and Diamond Victor Griff, going one-on-one. Devontae meets Big AC in a rematch from October 18th in Fredericksburg. So much more. And, of course, Mr. Excellence, Brandon Scott, taking on the Greek god Papadon with Mr. George Pontus, part of Virginia Championships Wrestling. Big event coming up December 6th as part of the Tidings of Destruction. And I think Papadon, Coach Young, wants to be you too. He's very jealous, very jealous.
Well, he might want to be with it, but he might want to be me. I understand. Greeks are the best athletes, and, we are the best teachers. Socrates philosophy, with the philosophy, we have Aristotle, Pythagorean theorem is Greek. So, it is what it is. I understand. Just pick a number, go back to the line like Rosa Parks. She'll be fine.
Well, I know we can't take a whole lot of your time, but, I respect you. I'm assuming you're going to do it the right way. No outside interference by Mr. Pontus like he did before. And that, if you win clean. If you don't win, well, you've lost before, so it ain't like something new.
Even when I lose, I win. Fact of the matter is, it becomes a victory in the mind because I learned from my mistakes and I keep moving forward and forward and forward. And I don't sit and wallow in my grief like the majority of the people in this world today. Boo-hoo, I need a safe space. I'm a snowflake. No, look. Fact of the matter is, Brandon Scott is going down quicker than a $2 hooker, and I'm not even going to enjoy it that much. But the point is, he's going down, courtesy of the Alpha and Omega, the Greek god Papadon right here. And if you guys are going to be at the event, you're going to see what I'm talking about, and you're going to see how great GGP truly is.
Well, I'm definitely going to be there. Matt has another engagement that he has to get to. I'm going to be there. It's sold out almost. The ringside is definitely sold out. There is still tickets. You got to give it at the door. But Mr. Papadon, I will be there. You will hear me because I'm going to be loud and proud. And I'm going to be reserved. I'm going to see what happens. But the minute you guys cheat, we're all going to have all our Norfolk fans. We're going to get on your case because we want to see a good match.
Do you want to hear a good history lesson? Do you know that the toothbrush was invented in Norfolk, Virginia? You guys do that?
Say that again?
I said the toothbrush. Did you guys know that the toothbrush was invented in Norfolk, in Norfolk, Virginia?
I know that.
Yeah, because if it was invented anywhere else, it'd be called a teeth brush.
Oh, wow. That's
I'm gonna give you that one. I'm gonna give you that one.
That's a slam. I'm telling you right now, my pops might be mad about that one. He might come up there and boo you and throw things at you, but. Nonetheless, it'll be a showdown for the Tidings of Destruction. VCW, Norfolk Masonic Temple is the place to be Saturday night, December 6th. Granby Street, doors opening up at 6:30, bell time at 7:30 for Ding Ding, the Greek god Papadon with Mr. George Pontus as they square off against Mr. Excellence, Brandon Scott. It should be rather interesting. We thank you for the time, and I'll say all the best for some of the audience. A lot of the audience might say all the worst to you, but we do thank you for coming on the program, and we'll talk again down the road.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, gentlemen. And hopefully, Coach, I'll see you at the show. And don't worry, I won't charge you to shake my hand. You get a freebie, okay?
Oh. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mr. Papadon, for coming on. Can't wait to see you in action.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a great night.
You got it. More coming up.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better. And it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
And now back to Matthew Hatfield and that evil basketball coach. Blast you, Ed Young!
What on earth was that? What was that? Was that you? Hold on. If you're just tuning in, we'll play it again for you folks. I don't know what that was. You better be careful. You get hurt doing that.
I thought it was you.
No, I thought it was you. Look just like you.
Yeah, let me see me be in the air for anything. You're lucky enough I'd be on a plane. No way I'm doing something that crazy.
You have a fear of flying now? I didn't know you had a fear of flying. So that means no more trips to Vegas for you. I was going to give you a free paid expense trip to Vegas. Now, since you have a fear of flying, you can't go. Sorry.
No, first of all, that had never happened out of your pockets. I've always had a little phobia for heights and water. When I wasn't a good swimmer, I'm an okay swimmer. And heights, is nowhere to go but down. So when I go on a plane, boy, I just hold my breath until the plane lands. Passed out a lot of times, too.
You hold your breath until the plane lands.
Yep. I've gone to Vegas a few times.
Well, I know that, but holding your breath might not be a good move.
That's why I say pass out that way. I don't even want to talk about the plane going. I don't even want to talk about that. That's not good stuff. How about the interview with the Greek god Papadon? He told me to take a back seat and be an assistant coach. You know what? I'm going to give him one of these tonight if he ain't looking.
Yeah. Some weird stuff there. Weird stuff.
And he was referencing you when he said toothbrush.
No, it wasn't referencing me. That was not me. That was definitely not me.
Yep. He's a heel. And George is going to play the bad guy routine again. But I'm going to be there. It's not
a routine anymore. So here we go. This is the college football playoff projected bracket. You see the question marks. And we asked it earlier on Cova Sports TV to all of you out there, Edward. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And we asked this question: who is more deserving, Miami or Notre Dame? Oh, you're on your phone again. You can't see anything that we put up on the screen. Not a thing. Well, you just saw the video.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. I got you.
You're like, well, I'm not going to make that joke on the air. I'll get myself in trouble if I make this joke I wanted to make. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to refrain from getting in trouble.
Papadon made a couple references that I had to hurry up and close my eyes.
Yeah, we apologize for a couple of those.
No, I don't.
He said, "You don't." I apologize because one of them was highly offensive.
Hey, that's on him. That ain't on us.
Miami, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Miami people. Are you just going to erase the Florida game? Is that what we're doing now?
Wait,
Yes,
Florida game. Wait. What Florida game? Time out. Florida game. They didn't lose to Florida. Who are you talking about?
Florida State?
They didn't lose to Florida State. No.
Who did Miami lose to?
If you're gonna argue about Miami, know who they lost to.
Who'd they lose to?
They lost 2 football games to the likes of Louisville by 3 and SMU by 6. They beat Notre Dame by 3. The same Notre Dame who lost on its home soil to Texas A&M, giving up 41 points, and to Miami. So again, Notre Dame is benefiting from a loss to Miami more than Miami's benefiting from a win over the Fighting Irish.
Miami, if that's your war cry, we beat Notre Dame. Okay, so we're just going to erase SMU and Louisville losses. Okay? Notre Dame lost to in Miami. They lost to Miami. 3 points. Doesn't matter. They lost. Miami lost to SMU and Louisville. End of sentence.
Bad losses. So bad losses are valued more than good wins, is what you're saying.
At this point in the season, they should have had they won one of those 2 games without question. They're in the playoffs.
Well, they'd be in the ACC championship, but let's get on the dumb ACC for not allowing one of its teams with a stupid 5-way tiebreaker. And look, it's great for the University of Virginia today, taking on Duke. I don't want to hate on it too much, but let's just be perfectly honest. I don't know. Now, if they beat Duke, they're getting in. They're going to get in the playoff. But I think Duke's going to probably pull it out. I really do. And at that point, the ACC could be shut out entirely. Not a single team of the 12 because you'll get JMU, you'll get Tulane. So those question marks that was the projected bracket. It'll have Tulane in the 12 slot against Oregon in the 5. It'll have Ole Miss in the 6 slot against the 11 of JMU. But by the way, I don't think that's going to happen because I think they're going to flip this. So I think this projected bracket from our friends at On3, our parent company with Rivals and us at Virginia Preps, I think they're going to put Notre Dame against Ole Miss because they want to give your Irish that easy game to the next round, knowing that Ole Miss's team is basically, not even with it anymore. They could care less given what's transpired as Lane Kiffin went adios to Baton Rouge. But more importantly, you have 4 conference championship games that have implications today, Ed. They're BYU, Texas Tech at the top of the hour in the Big 12 title game. They are UVA, Duke tonight in the ACC, Indiana, Ohio State in the Big 10, Georgia, Alabama in the SEC. Georgia's 11-1, Bama's 10-2. Georgia's safe no matter what. Bama beat them the first go-round at Georgia. But if Bama gets crushed 35-14, which I think is entirely possible, do they still belong in this playoff, yes or no?
Now, I can't say yes or no.
What do you mean? It's a yes or no question. How can you not say yes or no? How can you not say yes or no to a yes or no question?
Okay. If Alabama loses today, they don't belong in the round of 12.
I agree with you on that. I was just asking for a yes or no question. If the margin matters, if they lose a close game, I think they belong, but that'll be their 3rd loss. And remember, you've been the guy from the very get-go who said 3 losses. No, 3 losses. Bye-bye, Texas. Bye-bye, everybody with 3 losses. So let's see if you stick to your guns and your statements. Go ahead. You waved everybody. Go ahead.
If Alabama loses, it's 3 losses, correct?
I just said that, yes.
Okay. I don't care if Alabama loses on a last-second 90-yard field goal by 1. They're out, period. Now I made myself clear.
Did you say a 90-yard field goal last second? If they lose on a last-second 90-yard field goal, we've got a story on our hands, okay? Because I don't think there's going to be a 90-yard field goal kicked. So I will care if that happens. I want to see that if that happens, 90 yards. Because even our boy Aubrey for the Cowboys can't kick it that far.
Tulane, JMU, regardless of what happens with Virginia and Duke, belong in this, period.
Okay.
Now, I got one for you. Loser, Texas Tech, BYU. Loser.
Well, I think Texas Tech wins that. If BYU loses, there's no question now. That is not even a debate. They're out. Good year. Coach Sataki decided to stay, not go to Penn State, but they're out. They're done.
I agree. Texas Tech loses. They out?
It depends how they lose. I think you're basically saying these conference championships don't matter, win or lose. I think how the game is played, they should have some significance. If they lose a close, hard-fought game as their second loss, I think they should stay. But if they get throttled, like I portrayed the scenario for Alabama, if they get thumped by more than 2 touchdowns, I say get them out of there. To me, you shouldn't lose your last game by 2 touchdowns or more, and it be your second or third loss, and you stay. If it's your first loss, remember, A&M didn't lose by 2 or 3 touchdowns. They were in that game with Texas. They deserve to stay. But if you lose your second or third game and it's by more than 14 points, get out of there. Get out of Dodge. I don't need to see you in this playoff. Go home. As Derek Wittenberg told the UVA people, go home. Go home. Go home. I don't need to see you. I don't. But what's going to be interesting with this is how they seed Ole Miss, because you figure Ole Miss is going to stay. They won't get the Florida State shaft from a couple years ago. So that's the intrigue number 1. Intrigue number 2 is, does it come down to a single spot for Notre Dame and Miami? Because it's been said all along that head-to-head should matter and have some significance. And given that there might not be – if Duke beats UVA, I'm going to paint the scenario to you. I actually think if it comes down to Notre Dame and Miami for that last spot, I think that helps Miami, because I don't think they want to have not that the national media cares so much about the ACC anymore, but not have a single ACC team in the field. Now, that ACC team will not play in the championship game because of the dumb rules that the ACC has, constructed, which I think will change beyond this year. But the SEC championship, Big Ten championship, there really isn't a whole lot to determine. I mean, Ohio State Indiana is going to be a great game, but it determines who's 1 and who's 2. Pretty much that. Unless Indiana gets beat bad and Georgia wins convincingly, where Georgia could jump ahead of Indiana for 2 and the other one goes to 3. So.
Well, you know me. I've been a proponent since day one that at least some of these teams that win the low conference, if they have a great record, 1 loss, maybe 2, 1 for sure, they belong in this. Mid-America Conference champion has 4 or 5 losses. Conference USA champion has 4 losses. They don't belong. Okay? So that's why I'm on Tulane and JMU bandwagon regardless. ACC needs a team in there. If Virginia were to lose to Duke, I would go Miami. If the ACC is going to be represented, I'd put Miami in. I would. I wouldn't put Duke. I'd put Miami. And I'm also going to make this statement.
Well, hold on. If you do that, then you're going to have to possibly dump your Irish for enough slots here.
No. There's a slot right now for UVA. There should be. Okay? Should be. Now, we're
in the 11 hole, right? Because we acknowledge Tulane's going to probably get the 12 slot, right?
Yeah, JMU would be 11, Tulane would be 12, regardless.
So if UVA wins, one of them's getting thrown to the curb. Probably JMU. And let me ask you this too, by the way, real quick. So Lane Kiffin gets out of Dodge right away. He's already recruiting players at LSU. He's out of Dodge. What's your take as a coach, especially you being a high school basketball coach who did once upon a time coach at college? What's your take on where we are with the mess that is intercollegiate athletics now? That coaches just hop and then the portal happens, and this is happening while you're pursuing a national championship. Ole Miss was a top 10 team capable of winning it all, and now – Ed's phone went blank. I made him so mad. He went adios, amigos. He went pitch black, ladies and gents. We'll see if we can recalibrate with Coach here in just a second. We will see. But I was painting what he feels about now that you have a scenario where you get completely thrown out the door. I mean, it's so wild. It's so wild. Well, while we try to get Ed back on here, we will take a quick timeout, hear from some of the sponsors that make it possible. And we also got to squeeze in the interview with Joe Hassell of Nansemond River Basketball. But I do want to get his take on that before we do NFL picks and sign off on this particular episode of 757 Sports Talk. It is Cova Sports TV. Now this from those who help make it possible. We'll be back to hopefully reconnect the dots and the wires. Stay tuned.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us, and the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
I'm Dr. Mark Cardelia, orthopedic surgeon and surgical director of the CHKD Sports Medicine Program. We see a lot of knee injuries in student athletes these days, and many of these are ACL tears. Parents often ask how to know when a knee injury may be serious. The most obvious symptom is severe pain or swelling in the knee joint. Your child may have heard a pop when the injury occurred. Look for signs they can't put weight on the knee around 48 hours after the injury, or if the knee feels unstable or wobbly. Those are all signs you should see a CHKD sports medicine specialist. Our sports medicine physicians, surgeons, athletic trainers, and physical therapists understand the needs of growing athletes and tailor treatment to fit each child's age and level of activity. Our goal is to accurately diagnose the problem in a timely fashion and provide the treatment that will ensure a safe return to activity. Kids want to play, and we want to help them get back in the game. To learn more, visit chkd.org. Sports medicine at CHKD. We're more than a hospital.
All right, here with Nansemond Riverhead basketball coach Joe Hassell. His Warriors win at 68-50 over Western Branch to open up the season against the Southeastern District foe. Coach, I'll give you a little trivia nugget. First time the Warriors have beaten the Bruins 3 times in the same calendar year since 2012. So this is a good way to start things off for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good team. They play really well, and especially for this rivalry game on their home floor. I think it was a good win for us because we knew they were going to bring it. They were going to battle. So it feels good, but we can't sit on it too long. We got late till Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big matchup for you. The Bruin Crazies, the River Rowdies was back for the JV game and the varsity game. Thought the key of the game was your offensive rebounding, your size inside. You had 19 offensive boards. How much of that was a focal point to go inside and pound them in there?
We just want to get our big Mikael Mitchell going and Jonathan Smith. So we try to do a lot just to get them going. And it was a lot of fouls one way or another. So we weren't able to get it in passing for the most part. The second half we did a little better, but that they decided to go get it on the rebounds there. So it turned well.
There were a couple of technicals in this game. How much is that going to be the emphasis going forward? You know, you have some other district games that'll wait to with the rival like Kings Fork and Oscar Smith to keep the heads. Is that a big talking point moving forward here?
Yeah, we got to do a better job of keeping our head. No matter what the situation is, no matter how we feel, we got to do a better job of keeping our head.
17 points, I think it was, for Toronto Atwater. He and Quentin Cruz for you back in the backcourt. Speak of what they bring your team.
A lot of leadership. They both can score the ball in many different ways. We just got to continue to give them the ball, and they got to make shots. But we lean on them a lot on the offensive end.
Two more for you. Now, last year's team, a win away from the state tournament. You lost a close, hard-fought battle at Norview High School to Woodside. It was two-time defending champion at the time after beating Norview, the team that knocked you out the year before. How much was there a lot of confidence gained from that playoff run and the guys returning from that squad?
I wouldn't even say there's a lot of confidence. I said we still angry. Okay. Woodside was a good team, nothing from them, but we felt like we were so close. I don't even know the last time Nansemond River has been to the States, and we felt like we were 4 points away, and we could have made some different plays. So all offseason, all preseason, we kind of preached. We want to get to that same spot, but this time we want to make those right plays.
I think it was like 2007. You were in diapers back then probably. But lastly, Region 5B is rugged. Certainly you guys are going to be a factor, it feels like. Woodside, Norview, Kings Fork, Granby. What are the things you have to do moving forward here? It's just game 1, 21 plus to go here that you'll kind of harp on with the group.
Well, we got to stop fouling. We got to stop fouling. We got to do a better job on that. And gambling. We gambled a lot, so they was able to hit some shots at the end. So when we were going on runs and they hit a big shot and they got the momentum back. So we got to do a better job of being more disciplined, not gambling, and we got to do a better job of keeping teams off the free throw line.
There you go. Victory 1 in the books for Joe Hassell and the Warriors. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And that was Joe Hassell of Nansemond River after their win over Western Branch. It was a packed house on Thursday night, as it was at your place Thursday with Smithfield beating Isle of Wight Academy. And already B. Kind says Smithfield 61, Bruton 51. All right, he's got the Packers winning by 10. You would take that, would you? You'd sign for that. I'm sure you would.
Well, I would love to have that.
You would sign for that. You don't have to tell Ed that twice there. And he also says have Ohio State and Indiana locked up the 1 and 2 seeds. Depending on how that game goes and how Georgia's game goes, I would say not quite. But if they play a classic and Georgia slips by Bama, I would leave them both 1-2. But the way the committee operates, if Ohio State loses to Indiana close, I think they'll keep them 1-2. But if Indiana loses to Ohio State and Georgia is convincing, I think they'll flip them and put Georgia 2, Indiana 3. Do you concur?
If Indiana loses, I would put them 4th.
4th.
Yep. Ohio State 1, and probably Georgia 2, Texas A&M 3, Indiana 4.
Let's get back to, you heard from Joe Hassell, the Warriors, what we were talking about before your connection lost us. As a coach, if you get offered all this money, don't you have an obligation to your team, to the contract you signed, to fulfill those obligations? I mean, Ole Miss, he's going to LSU to win a championship. Isn't Ole Miss good enough to win a championship? You're number 6 in the playoff. You're a top 10 team. And now give Bob Chesney a little different circumstances. He coached the Sun Belt championship game. You know, Ole Miss didn't get to the SEC championship for Kiffin to coach it, but he coached that game. Now he's relinquishing the duties, going out to the West Coast and UCLA, and now it becomes the team of Billy Napier. But Napier, who got, 20-something million fired from Florida, he's not going to all of a sudden coach JMU in the playoff or their bowl game. It's going to be the rest of the staff, and now will kids stay? Will kids go? It's so strange, Ed. You work so hard to be in these games, and by the way, Old Domain's going to play in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl, as you see it on our ticker, Wednesday, December 17th at 5 o'clock on ESPN. If you look at the calendar of that date, that means you know what Matt Hatfield will be doing that day. He'll be doing not 1 game, but 2 games. But anywho, your thoughts on how you handle this as a coach, and if you were in those shoes, would you take the money? I know you would. You're a greedy SOB, and would you do what they've done? I know you would. Go ahead.
First of all, I think maybe a correction needs to be made. Chesney took UCLA, but I think they're allowing him to coach all the way through until JMU loses, if I'm not mistaken. Lane Kiffin was told by the athletic director of Mississippi, the minute you take another job, you're done with us, period. So it's 2 different stories, okay? And in that, there's issue. Do you want somebody coaching your team that said, I don't want to stay here, I got better over here, and yet he's coaching your team with the same idea. You know, right now, Mississippi, a third of those guys are going to LSU with Kiffin. Half the staff. Charlie Weiss is going with Lane Kiffin to LSU, but they are allowing Charlie Weiss to stay and coach Mississippi.
Right.
It is totally screwed up.
Well, so you're right about that. So let me back up. So yes, if they get in the CFP, the 12-team field, he'll be coaching it. But if they don't, he's not coaching that bowl game. Which and again, I'm hating on this, but some of these, cupcakes, Hostess, potato chip bowls, they almost mean next to nothing for the coaches and stuff. They do because you're getting your ahead on spring schedule and what you have, what you're going to lose. But some of these bowl games are just flat out unwatchable. If you're not in the CFP now, you're not in the top 12. I think it's a waste of time, in my opinion. That's just my feeling on it. That's me. That's me.
The bowl, number one, to get rid of the conference championships, which they won't. Number two, the 10 top bowls need to be used for the playoffs. Okay, 10 top bowls. Now, after that, you need to reward the teams that did not get into playoffs but had great years. So you might need another 10, 11 bowls. We have about another extra 30, which is a joke. Right. Because now what's happening is, and again, there's so many legs to this. Kids are leaving because the portal's open. Do you understand? Old Dominion starting quarterback will not be in the bowl game.
Right. I'm hearing, by the way, little Birdie's told me, don't be shocked if he ends up in an ACC school from the West Coast. I won't say which ACC. There's only two of them, so you got a 1 in 2 chance of guessing it potentially for lots of money. But Ed P makes a good point here. The problem is the portal. How do you fix this portal? I mean, the genie's out of the bottle, the toothpaste out of the tube. I don't know how they fix this whole thing, but right now it's really – I think it's messier for college football than it is college basketball, which I wouldn't have envisioned saying about a year or two ago.
Well, college football is totally destroyed, and basketball is close by. But I'm gonna say this statement: no matter what we say on here, we could talk until Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Anything we propose that I would, and my proposal is this: you have a signed contract, you stick with it. Players need to have a contract also. All right. I just read where one of the quarterbacks somewhere is going to one of the top quarterbacks in the country is transferring for the third time. It's a joke. The portal's open because colleges, you have to register for your classes. So the portal's open at a certain time because they have to get on campus.
Right.
There's a problem right there. Because remember, Marshall last year was put in a bowl game, and then the coach got another job, and half the team, 3/4 of the team, all transferred. Half of them went with him. So they had to pull out of the bowl. South Alabama, who was home resting for 2 weeks, got called and said, hey, you got 48 hours to get ready to play in a bowl, and they took it. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke to do that. When the courts allowed all this crap to happen, they opened up this gigantic can of worms, and everybody's taken advantage of it. I don't think it'll ever be fixed. The barn door's open. All the animals are running wild all over the place. It's too late to do it. It needs fixed. Okay. It's a joke. For Lane Kiffin to do what he did, and I can't fault him because you, me, and the world, somebody offers you $90 million over the next 7 years, you're going to say, I got to coach these kids because I'm making $60 million, and which me, I would probably say I'll take the $60 million. I ain't never seen what it looked like. But then again, flash 90 in front of me, I don't know. But I don't like, as a coach, I don't like what he did. He basically told those kids, this is better over here, but I'm going to take some of you anyway, so come on. I'm taking you coaches, come on. Yes, he wants to see Mississippi win, but his heart right now is trying to get a team loaded for LSU to win big next year. Not build, win big right now, which you can do with the portal. Can't do that when you just recruited high school. So it's a mess, Matt. We've been saying it for years now, the last 2 years. All this has happened, NIL, revenue sharing money. It's creating, you got freshmen in college making $2.7 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, put yourself in like Ricky Ronnie's shoes. He's got a good friend in James Franklin who has done so much for his coaching career. He comes to one of their primetime games against Troy, to see his friend. He wants him there. But, James is watching future Hokies on the field playing for the Monarchs. And, you're in a tricky spot. You're really in a tough spot, however you look at it. Now, real quickly before we go to break, do our NFL picks for week number 14, I think it is. I want you to do this as fast as you can. Don't give me in-depth analysis. We'll say that for a future show. I'm going to show the audience our top 10s that we dropped in high school basketball on virginiapreps.com this week in each of the classifications. And I'm going to read them to you. Hopefully you can see it on your screen without going haywire here, which good luck, right?
I got it.
You got it? Okay. Class 6, tell me what I got wrong. Go. You didn't say anything. I got it right then. All right. Good to know. You didn't say nothing, so I got that right.
I wonder about Hatfield being way down there.
You think it should be higher?
Yeah, but then who do I drop? That's the problem.
Okay, so you think I got that right. Westfield, Lansdowne, I don't need to flip it, you think? All right. Class 5, what did I get wrong? You're going to tell me Massaponax shouldn't be 1. I can already hear it.
Massaponax probably shouldn't be 1.
Yeah. And Granby's 0-2 now at number 5. They won't stay there for long. They'll be falling behind Woodside North as fast as you can blink.
I'm surprised because we scrimmaged them there. They're pretty good. But I think discipline can be an issue for them. If they reel it in, they'll be okay. I'm looking at I think Nansemond River might be a tad high.
Tad high, okay. At 3, that's fair. Maybe you want Woodside higher, that's fair. We beat them last year, but it was close. Class 4, I got Hanley at the top, Hampton, Verina, Broad Run, Heritage. This, I think, is the deepest class in the whole board, Ed. I think Class 4 is the deepest this year.
Tell you what, I can't mess with your first. Dang.
I mean, Denby's 8, and Denby could make a run to the state Final 4. That's how good they are this year.
Yeah, I might even put Henrico over Monacan 10-9.
They just lost, though, the other day. I forget who it was, so they might not stay there. There's some honorable mention teams that are good. Class 3, you know whose time it is now. Petersburg Crimson Wave. Hey. I guess the question now is who's playing for seconds?
Yeah, this is strictly for second. Oh, boy. You know, when I see Northside, I automatically think Billy Pope. Is Billy still coaching?
Two of your buddies, Billy Pope and Chad Edwards at 7 and 8.
Yeah, my boy Chad. I want to move them up there. I tell you what, I'd move Meridian down and probably move Spotswood. And I'd probably go Northside, Spotswood, Meridian.
Now, Meridian's got a great veteran coach in Jim Smith, who once coached Chantilly, and they were undefeated going into the States, I think it was last year. Class 2, Nelson County's number 1, followed by Floyd. Central Wise, you say, wait, no John Marshall. They don't have anybody over 6'2", I think, on a roster, and they only returned 2 end-of-the-bench subs. They didn't make the cut. Thomas Jefferson of Richmond has 12 seniors, and, of course, Martinsville's got themselves a KG veteran coach like yourself with Gary Hall, who once led at Herndon with Scotty Reynolds to a state championship game appearance. Martinsville's the team. Watch out for them. They're going to make noise sooner than later under Gary's tutelage.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at I know Graham, we love their football team, so they must have a lot of those kids playing basketball.
They got a couple, not a ton, but they made it to the state championship last year and returned a couple of key cogs from that team, though their leading scorer did depart. And then lastly, in Class 1, I was joking with my good pal Mike Cardellaro. I got 14 teams for 10 slots. I couldn't put them all there in the top 10. Mike Cardellaro, by the way, who won championships at Alta Vista and Perry McClure. What do you think? Laray's number 1. You saw him in the summertime. Worthy of it with the shooting and the IQ?
Yeah, Laray's pretty good. They're pretty good. I don't know much about Patrick Henry Glade Spring.
Got size. They
got size? Okay, because I was going to say Alta Vista, put Alta Vista number 2. But you're telling me no. Interested to see what Lancaster has this year. I wonder if we can move them up 1 or 2.
Could, but I think Northumberland's going to be the team to beat, returning a couple of all-region players, including the quarterback Tyreek Lundy. So there you have it. He didn't get on me too hard, folks.
I'm going to let you roll a little bit on that. Let me get into the season, and I'll be able to decipher it a little bit better.
Well, it's going to change as we go through the season, so the preseason ain't going to stay the same. It's kind of how this generally works, you know.
I got that, but even after football, I mean, all 10 weeks in football, I had to get on you. You made some dumb picks, but that's okay.
Coming up next, NFL Week 14 picks right here on 757 Sports Talk. It is Cova Sports TV, where you can like, you can share, and you can always subscribe with us. Stay tuned.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in a phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on Cove.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
Cova Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 bacon cheeseburger meal deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 meal deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Out to Brady Bishop. 15 seconds remaining. Marson, one more time. What's he do? He sinks it. Three-pointers in a row for number 34, Cade Morrison. He's hotter than a stolen car, Butch.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And we're back here on Cova Sports TV for our final segment on this particular episode of 757 Sports Talk with the Coach Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. It's time now for the picks in the league where they play for pay. And for that, thanks to some of this new music we have we can play. Big thanks, big shout out to the entire crew. Josh Gamberluri and Nick Senti and the boys. We got some new music in the background we'll be using for the NFL picks now. We won't get flagged for it. We'll be all good to go. And here are the records from last week, Ed. It was not particularly great for us on the selections as you suffered your third or fourth consecutive. I think it's your fourth consecutive 1-2 week. What do you have to say for yourself as the Bucks -3.5 did not cover? They won by 3. The Texans +3.5 won for you by 4. And then Atlanta, they lost to the Jets, Jets. Ed Young should not make any BETS bets anytime soon.
ATL gets me all the time.
You don't need to go down there. There's a lot of places in the ATL that you need to stay away from, if you know what I mean.
I love the ATL, but I cannot.
I'm sure you do.
Their Falcon football team.
They're not particularly good. They really aren't. So that brings the updated picks record to you sitting 9 games below 500, me sitting just 1 game above 500, and sandwiched in the middle is Mr. Pearl, the Virginia Beach Mustangs maestro at 18-21, breathing down my neck as we speak here. And now it means Mr. Pearl gets the floor for his first 3 selections. He's got Chicago, that title in town. Chicago, we'll show you around. How about the Bears? All these close wins with Caleb Williams and company, plus the 6.5 against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Philadelphia laying the 2.5 on Monday Night Football against the LA Chargers. And then you have over 53.5 with Cincy and Buffalo. So those are Bruce's picks. And since we tied at 1 and 2, I'll let you go first for a change. The floor is yours, Sir Edward.
I might want to defer and take 2 picks. See, I know you, man. You got some up your sleeve. You got 2 really good picks, and you won them. So you said, let's let Young go first. I'm doing a good thing. I'm deferring, but you go first.
So you're kicking?
That's
kicking. That's perfectly all right if you want to kick for me. You little tricky son of a gun.
It was a trick on the trick, buddy. I don't need tricky players. I need tricky plays.
That's what the late great George Lancaster said. Rest in peace, Coach Land. We love Coach Land. So now you threw me a curveball that I wasn't ready for.
I knew that. See that?
So I'm going to be the cop-out guy. I'm going to take the one game that was my number 1 pick here before I even saw Bruce send his in. I'm going Philadelphia minus the 2.5 on Monday night against the Chargers. I'm copycatting. So now you get 2, and then I get 2. Copycat. But I can't take another pick of Bruce's. I've already taken it. And you can't take the Eagles either now. So there you go. Eagles are exhausted now, literally and figuratively.
Give me Denver minus 7.5.
Okay, you're going Denver minus. Good for you because every time I take Denver, they screw me. Minus 5.5 last week. They have a chance to stop the commies on 4th down and overtime, and they can't do it right. They end up doing it on the 2-point play. Those jerks. Go ahead. What's your next pick?
Cleveland minus 3.5.
Cleveland minus 3.5. I don't think you've picked Cleveland in 6 years.
Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, too. Ain't that crazy?
Against the Tennessee Titans. That's a really gutsy move by you. And by the way, I took under last week. I can't do it this week. 44.5 of the Colts Texans. It's 33.5 with the Browns and the Titans. That's a terrible. And by the way, shout out to Hampton High's finest, Tyrod Taylor, for giving you a big stinky L last week as the Jets beat the Falcons. So because of that, I'm thinking hard about Tyrod and the Jets against the Dolphins as a 3-point home pup. I really am thinking hard about it, but I'm going to respectfully pass on that. Tampa Bay has got a big number here against the New Orleans Saints, but I'm going to lay it, Ed. Give me the Bucs minus the 8.5 at home against the Saints. It's a big, heavy number, but I'm doing it. I'm taking a chance. And then my final selection, another big number. I'm going to take the Rams minus the 9.5 at my Cardinals. They're mad about what happened last week, losing to Carolina. We're going to take their frustrations on an Arizona team that, quite frankly, is just not up to snuff. Or stuff. Snuff or stuff.
Yeah, both, either one. Give me Seattle minus 7.5.
You like the Seahawks against the ATL, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting back at them. Watch them. Well, almost said the wrong word. Watch those Falcons win.
Watch what you say.
Almost did. Oh.
Nearly a Freudian slip there, sir?
Almost. Thank God I'm a good dude.
Watch them go to Atlanta and not cover and win by 7, and you lose by half a point again and be in complete disarray. So to recap, Bruce has got the Bears plus 6.5 against the Pack, Philly minus 2.5, as do I, against the Chargers, and he's taken over in the Bills, Bengals, Burrow versus Allen. Shoot out the old corral, and is that Buffalo or Cincy? I think it's in Buffalo, right? Yeah.
It's in Buffalo.
Denver minus the 7.5 for Edward against the Raiders. Cleveland laying the 3.5 against the Titans. He's on the Shedeur Sanders bandwagon. And Seattle minus 7.5 at Atlanta to go with the Eagles for me. I'm going Bucs minus 8.5 and Rams minus 9.5. Taking heavy favorites to cover for me. Don't let me down. I want to stay above 500 as we go into the home stretch. And that's going to close out this particular episode of 757 Sports Talk. I didn't get the video, but I understand there's some snow on the ground still up there in Richmond for the Highland Springs Indian River game. Sure for Verona and Jefferson Forest, but that's going to do it. Again, you can watch all of your state semifinal action and the championships for VHSL football next week and today on the NFHS network. So until next time, I'm Matt Hatfield.
I'm the coach, Ed Young.
And we'll talk with you all next time as we move closer and closer to Christmas time. Me from JMU, Ed from Lord knows where he's going to be. We'll see you later, folks. Have a great one. Go ahead. What did you just say?
No, I was going to say you'll see me probably from the comfort of my humble abode, sipping on some eggnog, listen to Frank Sinatra sings the Christmas.
He does it his way, folks. Catch you next time, right here on Cova Sports TV. Have a great weekend.